What is the difference between residence and domicile? Okay, very simply, let's take a look at it. Let's say if I have residence, these are terms that are somewhat important to understand just from a perspective of an outsider. If you have, let's say for example, residence, the term domicile, okay, what is the difference between the two terms? Let me be very clear and categorical. Now they don't have a what you can call a textbook definition given in the constitution as to what the differences are between them, but very simply we can understand the differences in this categorization. Take a look at it very clearly. If a person resides in a particular area, it is residence. मतलब अगर कोई व्यक्ति एक क्षेत्र में मौजूद है, ठीक है, तो उसको हम रेसिडेंस कहेंगे. ही इज फिजिकली प्रेजेंट ओवर देयर. ओके. डोमिसाइल मीनिंग if a person residing in a particular area intends to reside there in perpetuity. Okay, do you get the point? If a person residing in a particular area intends to reside there in perpetuity, then this is what is known as a domicile. So the term domicile is actually used only once in the constitution, but in specific ways it has been used only under Article 5 of the constitution. Article 5, the term domicile appears, and I am distilling before you the judgments of the Supreme Court as to what they call a domicile. Okay, you see, so Article 5 of the constitution talks about a domicile, and the definition of a domicile according to a lot of judgments of the Supreme Court is not only the residence of a person in a particular area, but his intention to keep residing in that area in perpetuity. That's the important thing that you have to understand very clearly and specifically, right? So let's say for example, let's say if I am staying in the state of Madhya Pradesh, let's say I'm staying in the city of Bhopal for some time. I'm staying there over in the city of Bhopal for some time, right? Now, if for example, let's say I am only visiting Bhopal and I'm staying there, let's say for 2 months, I am a resident of Bhopal. For 2 months, I am a resident of Bhopal, right? But I may not have a domicile of Bhopal. To be able to establish my domicile, I will have to show some more evidences. For example, I have a ownership of a house in the city of Bhopal. I have, let's say, for example, I have my family who is living in the city of Bhopal. I have my job in the city of Bhopal. I have my kids who are going to school in the city of Bhopal. All those evidences which are able to establish that this person is not only residing there, but also intends to reside over there. But he has invested in this area in such a way that he intends to reside in this particular area. That is what is basically known as a domicile. Class, do we understand the difference between a residence and a domicile? Okay, are we clear? Why equality before law doesn't secure reservations? Well, see, just the fact that it doesn't should be enough for the prelims examination. But if you want me to go to the explanation again, you'll have to wait a little bit. क्योंकि इसमें conceptual questions इतने level पे नहीं आएंगे prelims में. बस अगर आप ये समझ लेंगे अभी कि it doesn't allow for reservations, that is going to be sufficient. But if you want a better elaborate explanation upon this, let me discuss one of the cases in the coming times in which I'll take it up. हाँ, तो जो भी जहाँ पर भी reservation permitted on the basis of domicile, yes. So for example, if you take a look at let's say the reservations which are given under Article 16 Clause 3, which are given on the basis of residence, okay, they are not only residence but आपको यहाँ का domicile भी देना पड़ेगा. तो अगर reservation 16 Clause 3 के अंदर दे रखे हैं तो वो आपके domicile में आएंगे. अगर किसी state गवर्नमेंट के एम्प्लॉयमेंट में अगर उस स्टेट के रेसिडेंट्स को अगर रिजर्वेशंस दिया जाएगा तो वो आपके डोमिसाइल सर्टिफिकेट को इशू करने के बाद दिया जाएगा. एंड एज यू नो फॉर अ फैक्ट दैट अंडर आर्टिकल 15 क्लॉज 1 it is written that discrimination shall not happen on the grounds of race, religion, caste, sex एंड प्लेस ऑफ बर्थ. मतलब आर्टिकल 15 में लिखा है कि इन सब चीजों पे किसी व्यक्ति के संग डिस्क्रिमिनेशन नहीं किया जाएगा, है ना. लेकिन आप इसमें अगर नोटिस करें तो इसमें रेसिडेंस नहीं लिखा हुआ है. प्लीज टेक अ लुक एट दिस थिंग दैट आई हैव रिटन ओवर हियर with regard to the question on reservations on the basis of residence. Again, I am making it clear to you that reservations can be given on the basis of residence in two categories. Under Article 15, you have 5 grounds upon which discrimination cannot happen. Okay, race, religion, caste, sex, and place of birth. Which means residence is not given as a ground of discrimination. Meaning what it means to say is that you cannot say that residence is not a ground of residence is the ground of discrimination. So, if for example a state of Madhya Pradesh makes within the state of Madhya Pradesh reservations. If the state of Madhya Pradesh makes within the state of Madhya Pradesh reservations on the ground of what you can say residence, that only state of Madhya Pradesh can get 50% seats in a medical college, then it is not constitutionally invalid, because Article 15 does not say that discrimination on the basis of residence is prohibited. And therefore, if a state of Madhya Pradesh wants to make 20% seats reserved for the people who are residing in Madhya Pradesh as a criteria, then it is not to be declared unconstitutional. Similarly, Article 16 clause 3 also talks about reservations of local people of a particular area can be made under the state government jobs. That some people residing in the state governments, they can make reservations. Reservations can be made for their impact, for their, let's say, quota, if they are residing. For example, let's say if I am a Marathi residing in Maharashtra, it is possible under Article 16 clause 3 that reservations can be made in a particular case in which Marathis are giving 25% of the quota, right, in a particular office under the state. This talks about office under the state. But also please remember very clearly the fact that this law, which is giving reservations under Article 16 of the Constitution, can only be made by the Parliament, not by that state. ठीक है. हाँ, तो ये हरियाणा वाला जो केस था, रेसिडेंस कैटेगरी इज नॉट टू बी, इट इज अनकॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल, इट हैज बीन डिक्लेयर्ड अनकॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल. हटा तो दिया उसको. It is unconstitutional because the state government cannot do it. Only the Parliament can do it. Therefore, it is unconstitutional. Yes, 100% unconstitutional. No, there is no time period to be a domicile. It is, again, as I prove, as I established to you, that it has to be proven that your intention is to reside in that particular territory. That's basically what a domicile requires. Now, this is a subjective criteria which can be made by the district administration on the case-to-case basis. There is no time period for which a domicile has to be given. If I come into the state of Madhya Pradesh today and tomorrow I buy a house, then I can get a domicile, because even if I'm residing only for one day, but by buying a house, it is somewhat proof that I intend to reside in the state of Madhya Pradesh. Therefore, I can have a domicile.